Howdy doody folks, today we're talking about the top reasons why planning permission gets refused and how you can avoid those same pitfalls to give your application a higher chance of success. Applying for planning permission may not be the most exciting part of a home improvement journey, believe me, but it is crucial to dot your I's and cross your T's before starting work, especially if your plans fall outside of permitted development. We all have a dream home in mind, and when we've saved up enough to make that extension or renovation a reality, we want to know if it's possible. So how can we set our projects up for planning approval success and avoid the crushing, bitter, grapefruit-like disappointment of rejection? First, let's understand why planning permission gets denied in the first place. You're likely to face rejection if your proposed design overshadows a neighbour, causing a loss of light, overlooks in other homes, leads to a loss of privacy, dominates or is overbearing on a neighbour's views, appears out of character with the existing property or the wider area, adds too much bulk and becomes overdeveloped, maxes out the greenbelt allowance, impacts protected trees, affected highway safety, or removes off-street parking spaces, is a listed building, or has a negative effect on nature or conservation areas such as bat protection areas. Local authorities consider several factors before signing off on your home improvement project depending on their specific policies. These can include local planning policies and design guides, nature, wildlife and biodiversity considerations, the impact of neighbouring properties like we just mentioned, the presence of protected species like bats, national planning guidance set up by the government, error or missed information in the design and access statement submission, sustainability initiatives and environmental health issues like noise or air quality. You might be wondering if your neighbours can block your planning permission wholesale. The good news is, as long as your proposals don't unduly affect them, they can get their nose out of your business and they can't stop your building works from going ahead. However, they can object to the application and make the process a lot more complicated. It's worth noting that your neighbours have a 21-day consultation period after they're made aware of your upcoming project. If they don't respond within that time, they must forever hold their peace. Not literally, they're not dead, but just planning permission piece. Even if they do respond, the council will consider the legitimacy of any complaints and base their decision on their professional opinion. On the flip side, there are certain reasons that councils can't use to reject your planning permission. These include the time it will take to do the work, whether your project decreases the value of your property, your age, health, status or background, your planning history, a neighbour's opinion that isn't supported by planning policy, and private agreements, also known as Section 106 agreements. To give yourself the best chance of avoiding a planning disaster, consider employing an architect to manage the process for you. They'll handle the nitty-gritty of preparing your documentation and use their expertise to create drawings that have the best chance of approval. If your planning permission does get rejected, don't panic. It doesn't mean your project is doomed to failure and staying on just a pad of paper for the rest of eternity. Some planning officers might give you a heads up if your project is facing rejection over a minor point, allowing you to amend the designs and still push them through. If permission is denied outright, you can always redesign and resubmit an application to the council. There's no real limit on how many times you can apply for planning permission at your property. If you disagree with the council's decision to refuse, you can exercise your right to appeal the application to a planning inspectorate. An appeal can be submitted with or without an appeal statement, depending on how much you're willing to spend. Without an appeal statement, an appeal is free and can be submitted easily by yourself. With a planning statement written by a planning consultant, there are costs involved, but it can help support your appeal and argue a case back to the planning inspectorate. Ultimately, whether it's worth appealing a planning refusal depends on the original reason for the rejection and the potential fixes available to you. If you're looking for guidance, consider calling a company like us for advice on your next steps, or employing a planning consultant to manage your appeal and guide you through the process of making a planning application to your local authority. Remember, every project is unique, but by understanding the common pitfalls and seeking expert advice, you can give your home improvement dreams the best chance of becoming reality.